Maya stood at the edge of the last city, staring out at the barren wasteland that surrounded it. The sun beat down mercilessly, baking the cracked earth and casting everything in a hazy orange glow. In the distance, Maya could see the ruins of other cities, long since abandoned and left to the mercy of the elements. The last city was different. It was still standing, a beacon of hope in a world that had been destroyed by climate change. Maya had been born here, and she had never known anything else. She had grown up in the shadow of the city walls, surrounded by the constant noise and bustle of humanity struggling to survive. But survival was a daily struggle. Resources were scarce, and people fought over the scraps. Food was rationed, water was a luxury, and power was a precious commodity. The city was a fragile bubble of civilization in a world that had been pushed to the brink of collapse. Maya was a scavenger. It was a dangerous job, but it was necessary. She and her team would venture outside the city walls to search for anything that could be salvaged and brought back to the city. They would risk their lives for a few scraps of metal, a few drops of fuel, a few cans of food. Maya was small and agile, with dark hair and piercing green eyes. She was quick and nimble, able to navigate the treacherous landscape outside the city walls with ease. She was also smart and resourceful, always looking for ways to make the most of the limited resources available to her. As Maya stood there, looking out at the world beyond the city walls, she couldn't help but feel a sense of longing. She knew that there was more out there, more than just ruins and desolation. She had heard stories of other places, of lush forests and sparkling oceans, of cities that had managed to survive and even thrive in the face of the apocalypse. But those were just stories. Maya knew that the reality was much harsher. She knew that the world was dying, and that the last city was the only hope for the remnants of humanity. Maya turned and walked back towards the city, her boots kicking up dust with every step. She passed through the gates and into the crowded streets, where people were rushing to and fro, trying to go about their daily business. Maya weaved her way through the throngs of people, heading towards her home on the outskirts of the city. As she walked, she noticed that the usual chatter and noise was missing. It was quiet, too quiet. She quickened her pace, a sense of foreboding settling in the pit of her stomach. When she reached her home, she found the door open and the interior in disarray. Someone had broken in. Maya's heart raced as she scanned the room, looking for any signs of danger. That's when she saw it. A piece of paper, lying on the ground. Maya picked it up and read the hastily scrawled message. "Meet me at the old hangar. It's important." Maya felt a surge of curiosity and apprehension. The old hangar was outside the city walls, a place that most people avoided. But Maya knew that she had to go. Whatever this was, it could be important. It could be the key to the survival of the last city. Maya grabbed her bag and headed out into the streets. She didn't tell anyone where she was going. She didn't want to risk anyone following her, or getting caught up in whatever this was. As she walked through the deserted streets, Maya could feel the weight of the world on her shoulders. She knew that the last city was struggling, that resources were scarce and people were suffering.